Ladies and gentlemen, this particular story is actually a proper update. So I did put out a premiere about this video as its own separate story. And at the time when the story came out, I didn't have pictures. I didn't have names. The police and the media didn't put that information out there yet. So when they finally did, after my live stream was over, I was able to at least put up a thumbnail so people could visually see who the individuals were that we were talking about in this story. This story, you know what? I feel like I'm being cliche at the moment. I know I say a lot that stories just can't get much dumber than this. You can't be that level of dumb. But Lord have mercy. Houston, Texas has taken us to an all new low, okay? They have taken us about 50 steps backwards. And Houston, Texas, I can't even give it to Texas. Houston takes the L yet again. I'm going to tell y'all something. I really worry about Houston, and I really worry about the parents out there because y'all have the worst parenting stories about children being murdered, abused, missing, kidnapped, sold. Some of the worst stories you're ever going to hear are going to come right out of Houston, Texas, straight up and down. Don't believe me? You can actually look on my channel, and there are a lot of Houston-specific stories. With this story, what you have in Harris County, in Houston, Texas, is mom was dealing with a man. And that's why I have this shirt on. It's called Babies for Benefits, and trust me, we'll get there. We will get there. We talk about Babies for Benefits, and the reason I use that hashtag is because I personally believe that there are too many people who only produce children so they can collect benefits off of their children because they're selfish, they're disgusting, and they don't care about their kids. Hashtag Babies for Benefits. That's an AFC hashtag, by the way. Houston, Texas. As we struggle to understand, and this is a timeline, and I have to shout out ABC for this article. As we struggle to understand how an 8-year-old baby's body, I guess not a baby, but I call an 8-year-old a baby. But nonetheless, an 8-year-old's body could be left in an apartment with his 3 siblings for a year in West Harris County, and how someone could murder a child in the first place. We are also learning more about this case. So I'm going to warn you guys, I'm going to give some opinions that are not going to sit well with your sensibilities. I'm going to say some things that might upset you. So you might want to make sure and put your diaper on tight tonight. All right, let's get started. It's horrific, but unfortunately not terribly uncommon, according to former juvenile judge Mike Snyder, who oversaw thousands of cases during his time on the bench. When you have unrelated males in the same home as children, the chance of one child being abused just skyrockets, he said, noting that abusers are even more likely to abuse children who are not related to them. Now, where did you guys hear that from before? This guy, I've tried to tell you guys, well, let me say, more specifically, I've tried to tell my ladies. I know it's not all. I know most of my ladies in the chat understand what I'm saying. But a lot of ladies don't understand when I tell you guys that men in general are not going to treat your children the same way as if they would if those children belong to their own DNA. And yes, we're going to talk about this fake Paul Wall, busted, wannabe Crip looking ass little boy right here. He's not a man. He's a little boy. And we're going to talk a whole lot of crap about him in just a moment, okay? But I want to make sure that y'all see how funny his face looks. His face literally looks like a baked potato that has been just grabbed and squeezed and somebody stuck the foil inside of his mouth. This fool looks an absolute mess. And this mother gave up her children for that? For that? Where are my ladies at out there? Maybe I can't judge a man's looks, but maybe there's some ladies in the chat. If y'all feel like there's some level of attractiveness about this, then maybe y'all let me know. Maybe I got it wrong, okay? Maybe I got it wrong. Maybe this man is awesome. Y'all would love to have y'all a white man like that, right? But nonetheless, he confirmed what I said. I've said that before. Snyder says the kids have already undergone a lot of trauma and hope that that they are able to be placed with relatives together in a single home, loving home. A lot of kids who come from worse environments you or I could ever imagine. If you ask them where they would like to stay, they often will pick a place that's horrible for them, but it's a place with someone they know. Very interesting. Everyone involved in the case says it's almost beyond comprehension. Even investigators have admitted. Matter of fact, let me skip this part. Let's go straight to the timeline. And if you guys are listening, do me a favor, make sure y'all click this thumbs up. I want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to at least hear our take on this news story, okay? So let's start with 2020. While it's only just been discovered that the remains of the little boy, let me see if I can get his face up on the screen for you guys, for those who might not have seen him. I have like 1 or 2 pictures of him right there. Let me see if I have a different one. I like this one. This is the one I like. I can kind of relate to this one a little bit more. This is 8-year-old Kendrick Lee. 8 years old. That baby boy looks like he wouldn't do a thing to hurt anybody on this earth. For him to meet this demise the way that he did, but let me explain what happened. His remains were discovered. So if you guys have not caught that, the biggest portion of this story is that there were at least 3 children. No, there were 4 children left to live in a Section 8 apartment, basically. They were left by their biological mother. Mom went to go live with the boyfriend not that far away, and then she was just sending them the bare essentials, a little bit of food, a little bit of this and that, just to make sure that I guess they didn't pass away, I guess. So she left them there, pretty much abandoned them, and abandoned them for a year, and Mom's boyfriend ended up murdering that little boy, age 8 years old. And he was left, his dead corpse was left to rot in the apartment with the kids there, with the mom being gone and boyfriend being gone, until the corpse became dry, which means he withered completely away within that 12-month time frame. I know that's disgusting, and I know y'all are probably thinking, but what about the smell of death and all of that other stuff? I don't really know how you describe that. But here, let me tell you guys more about the story. One question that people want to know is, weren't the kids missing from school? Which I actually asked that question. So the Alief ISD, which Alief is like that general area, I believe, confirmed to the news that in 2019 and 2020, the school district filed truancy papers against the mother. And her name is, let me see if I can get her name back up here. I don't have it. Gloria Y. Williams. This woman, that is an alleged mother. That's Gloria Y. Williams. And the school filed truancy papers against the mother. 2 of her children apparently failed to show up for school. District officials said that the kids were last enrolled May of 2020 in school. A September 2020 home visit went unanswered, according to the district. So somebody actually came out to try to check. Gloria Y. Williams. So thank y'all very much for that. Shortly before Thanksgiving appears to be the last time that Lee would be alive. The holiday last year fell on November the 26th. So let's talk about November 2020. According to Sergeant Walford, Coulter, the mom's boyfriend, who is Brian W. Coulter, like I say, little fake gangster, little fake Paul Wall looking little boy right here with them fake silver teeth in his mouth. Let me see if I can get a better picture of him up here. This guy, and he has a warrior tattoo underneath his neck. This dude is an idiot, an absolute idiot. They both look crazy as hell. Like mom looked like she got beat up with a bottle of bleach. And mom's boyfriend looked like somebody pulled him out of a lawnmower or something. But his name is Brian W. Coulter, which is spelled Coulter. So let's keep going. Coulter beat Kendrick Lee to death sometime between November 20th and November the 29th of 2020. Beat, kicked, and stomped him to death. I want to make sure and stress that. The details of the beating are very, very gruesome. Lee's brother said in a testimony, because of course the kids or, some of the older kids were able to talk about this, said that mom's boyfriend kicked and punched the child repeatedly until he stopped moving and had black eyes. The boy said that mom's boyfriend Coulter then covered his body with a blanket. This all happened inside an apartment at City Park 2 at West Oaks on Greencrest near Addicts Clothing and West Park Tollway. Shortly after the murder, mom's boyfriend Coulter was arrested at, I can never pronounce that gas station correctly, Bucci's, BUC-EE''S. I can never, I always say Bucci's or whatever. Anyway, Bucci's, the gas station in Lulling, is where he was arrested at, a Texas town of around 5,800 people located about 140 miles west of Houston along I-10. The manager of that gas station called dispatch and asked for a welfare check on an intoxicated male subject who they thought was possibly armed with a handgun. This guy. Explaining to Chief Police Bill Sala in an interview with the news, my officer went out there and encountered Brian Coulter, and his passenger was the biological mother, Gloria Y. Williams. Sala said Coulter, the boyfriend, was in the Caldwell County Jail from November 23rd until November 29th when he was able to bond out. Based on those dates, the Harris County Sheriff's Office timeline, the little boy was killed just a day or two before that arrest. So they might have been able to catch this right when it happened. But they didn't, and the story gets a little bit deeper. His case in Lulling is still pending, mom's boyfriend. So 2021. What has happened in nearly 1 year since Lee's murder? That is among the many pieces of the investigation officials are trying to put together. On Sunday, October 24th of 2021, a few days ago, Harris County deputies responded to the scene at an apartment complex where Kendrick Lee, the 8-year-old boy, his skeletal remains were found and his siblings were left abandoned. The sheriff's office said they received a call from a 15-year-old claiming that his brother had been dead for a year in the apartment he shared with his siblings. The teenage boy also told 911 dispatchers that his parents had not lived in the apartment with him and his 2 living siblings for several months. Before calling for help, the 15-year-old texted his mom to tell her he could not take it anymore. The fact that they just left this all on him. Yes, and this is completely awful. So when the police got there, when the deputies got there, they found the skeletal remains consistent with what that teenage boy told dispatchers. I'm sure they are so messed up behind this. Let's keep going. Meanwhile, deputies located the mom, Williams, and boyfriend Coulter, and after being interviewed by law enforcement, they were released. They were released on Monday, October 25th, and no charges were filed. Now, y'all remember, that's when I gave my input on the story. And I said, there's no way that they couldn't have charged them. They had plenty of evidence against them, but that's part of the legal process. It takes a little time sometimes. So this is part of where maybe I could have been a little more patient, but I had an opinion on that story and I wanted to go ahead and give my opinion, so I went ahead and talked about it. But the very next day, on October 26, 2021, the couple was officially charged. Williams, the mom, with injury to a child by omission and tampering with evidence, a human corpse, and Coulter was charged with murder. Sheriff Gonzalez said the pair could face even more charges, which I think they should. How many of you guys who listen to the sound of my voice right now believe that they should get every charge possible? I don't know what you could throw at them, But I would love to see, maybe about 12 to 13 more charges. Just give them both 13 more extra charges. Give them as much time in prison as possible before they reach Satan in hell, because that's exactly where they're going. Coulter and Williams were arrested that night at a public library. Why? And this is what tripped me out, because I just found this out today. Why do y'all think they were at the library? Just can't be this level of dumb. Stupid is as stupid thugs, right? Why do y'all think they were at the library? They were at the library watching the news, looking up news articles about the story of mom's boyfriend murdering that boy and them abandoning those children in that apartment. They looked up their own case. Thank you. They were at the library looking up their own case. Let's keep going. The medical examiner ruled Kendrick Lee's death as a homicide caused by multiple blunt force injuries. And I'm surprised they were actually able to find that. Because y'all got to remember, the boy was completely dry when they found him from decomposition. But let's keep going. I know that's really hard to hear. Now, investigators believe that mom's boyfriend Coulter and Williams moved out, leaving the children to fend for themselves as their brother's body decomposed. The news learned that the couple lived in an apartment that was just 15 minutes away. 15 minutes away in an area called West Chase District. Then on Wednesday, October 27th, charges were read in court against Coulter, though he did not appear. He was being evaluated at the mental health unit. The judge set his bond at $1 million. The judge also ordered him not to have contact with any minors, specifically the minor witnesses in this case, and no contact with the boy's mother. A judge set Williams' bond at $900,000 and then $350,000 for injury to a child, $300,000 for tampering with evidence, and $250,000 for injury by omission. So I guess that amounts to about $900,000, I guess. The mom, Williams, has also been ordered to have no contact with her children or any minors and have no contact with the boyfriend, Coulter. Now, the judge who was supposed to see Coulter recused himself from the case for personal reasons. Now, I don't know why that is, but I would like to find out why. It's unknown at this time what those reasons are, so another judge filled in. When Coulter arrived, he walked in slowly, asking the judge several questions. At times, it appeared he didn't understand what was being read to him, and I think he's just playing stupid. Coulter asked the judge to repeat what the charges were against him and if he's convicted, if the sentencing is indeed 5 to 99 years or life. The judge said yes, but also advised him to speak through his attorney because anything he says in court can be used against him. The initial judge's recusal has implications in this case, at least for now. Williams was expected to go before the judge on Friday, and that appearance has now been pushed back. Both she and Coulter are still currently in jail. So some of you guys might be wondering about the neighbors because we talked about this on the last video. Why did the neighbors allow this to slip past them? How did you not smell this? And if you did smell it, why did you not report it? If you did report it, why didn't the apartment complex do anything in an entire year? They never walked this apartment. They never checked the apartment. They never came by. This is very, very clear. The apartment complex did not come by. They neglected their duty to come by there and have this thing investigated. Because if they did, then that means they would have known something was wrong, and then they could probably get arrested too. So I'm going to assume that they just flat out didn't show up and didn't give a crap. Yes? All right, let's keep going. The neighbors told the news that the 15-year-old child, the oldest one that was in there, relied on them for food. So the neighbors are actually trying to help. Yes, I thought the neighbors were a little bit trifling. You help a kid one time with food. Yes. Help a kid a second time with food. Yes. Come on, parents. Do I have any parents out there? Somebody talk to me and tell me if I'm right or wrong about this. By the third time this kid needs help with food, that is a red flag. Yes? If you ask me, the third time, that should have been a red flag, like something is wrong. Why do you not have food? Why are your parents, quote unquote parents, not providing for you? I would have immediately went to that apartment or called for a welfare check from the police, from CPS, from NBC, ABC, MTV, BET, whoever the hell you could have got out there. They should have got somebody out there, right? Call the damn FBI. Do something. The resident by the name of Erica said that she noticed that something was wrong and started to give food to the eldest child about 6 months ago. She let this go for 6 months. Erica, the neighbor, said that the teen wouldn't accept any food that was actually cooked. He would only take packaged snacks, fruit, and pizza. I didn't want to push him away by asking questions because I knew he was starving and he needed food. I know some of y'all are not going to be happy with me saying this, but I have to say this. This woman sounds like she does not have a husband, let alone a boyfriend at home. Because if that were my woman going and feeding some kid, guess what a man is going to do? Guess what a husband is going to do? Anybody want to take a guess at that? What would a husband do in this situation? The husband would immediately investigate. A husband ain't going to keep spending his money on somebody else's kids and somebody else's responsibility. Hello? You're talking about the logical mind. Women's minds are emotional. Men's minds are logical. You put us together. We work together great as a team. We need both. We need mothers and fathers in the home. We need husbands and wives in the home. Yes? If this neighbor had a husband, the husband would have immediately investigated, could have solved this a long time ago. Now let's keep going. The apartment the boys were living in was in a deplorable condition. And y'all know what deplorable means. It was absolutely disgusting and filthy. I don't want to go into the details right now. The unit reportedly had no furniture, no bedding. The carpet was soiled and it was infested by cockroaches and flies. But could the children have been discovered sooner? One neighbor told the news that she complained for months about a smell that was coming from the apartments, and that was the black lady. I think I moved her interview. I could probably show y'all that again, but it was a black lady came out on the news and she said that she couldn't even turn her air conditioning on because of the strong smell, and she reported it to the apartment multiple times. Okay? Another neighbor said that she would see Coulter and Williams actually come and go to the apartment, but never saw any of the children. A third neighbor by the name of Trevor described the 15-year-old as paranoid, and he was afraid of getting poisoned, which is why he would only accept certain kinds of food. It's beyond me. Anyway, a few times I would notice the lights weren't on and it was quiet upstairs, so I figured there was trouble because the parents haven't been there in a while, according to Thompson, which is one of the neighbors, which is Trevor Thompson. One day, he came here and knocked on the door and asked if I could use his charger, or asked if he could use the charger, and we built a bond from there. I started offering him food because I knew he needed more than just a charger. The two neighbors said they never called authorities. I want y'all to catch this. The neighbors said they never called authorities because they didn't understand the magnitude of the situation. Starving kids, and you don't think to call police, you don't think to call for help, you don't think that children shouldn't be starving? Huh, interesting. Okay. They said that the 15-year-old kept to himself and was quiet and did not answer many questions. According to the sheriff's office, after they were discovered, all 3 surviving boys were taken to the hospital where the doctor said they were malnourished with injuries. Investigators believe that the boyfriend, Coulter, beat the 9-year-old and caused an injury about 3 weeks ago. So that was actually pretty recent. No medical attention was given at the time, and the boy will soon undergo surgery because I think he said he broke the 9-year-old boy's jaw. Now, I don't know why that's missing from this because I read it in another article, but I think mom's boyfriend broke the 9-year-old's jaw, so he was on his way to murdering a second child in a year, and nobody knew anything. Williams reportedly told deputies that she witnessed her boyfriend punching her now deceased son in 2020 and that she tried to stop him, which I think that's bullcrap. The next day, she went back into the room where the beating took place and found the 8-year-old boy dead under the blanket. According to the details revealed in court, #NotMyWords, court documents, the mom Williams admitted that she knew her son was dead, but she did not notify law enforcement because she's saying that her boyfriend told her not to. That's just flat out stupid. She was afraid her kids would be taken by CPS, and she was afraid she would go to jail. Guys, there is so much more we need to talk about. Let's go ahead and get to these news videos, because I have a lot more to say. And I actually want to talk some more about these horrible neighbors out there, okay? So I hope y'all don't mind. Hit that thumbs up. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. But I guess we're not supposed to judge though, right? We're not supposed to judge a mother and boyfriend starving, beating, and murdering children. I guess we're just supposed to turn the other cheek, I guess? I don't know. Let's get it.
Family says Williams was estranged, only reaching out for money, always saying the kids were fine. Williams was estranged, only reaching out for money. Williams was estranged, only reaching out for money, always saying the kids were fine.
Anytime we did go help, where the kids at, how they doing? Oh, they in school. Yeah, it was always doing so we never had an apartment number. She always be like, okay, I'm gonna meet y'all at the front of the apartments.
A children's playground.
He was sleeping on the slide.
Chapman says she first met the 15-year-old boy who we're told called 911, claiming he and his siblings had been living with the remains of their brother in the room next to his.
And I asked him if he was hungry. And he said, yeah, and I brought him out some food and some drinks.
Harris County deputies discovered that 15-year-old boy along with a 7 and 10-year-old boy, and tragically, the remains of another young child.
Honestly, I'm disgusted. If I knew something was wrong with any of those kids, I would have took all of them.
If you knew something was wrong, you would have taken all of them. You didn't even take a moment to make a phone call to do a welfare check on starving children, ma'am. Sorry, I'm not going to let that go.
According to the Harris County Sheriff's Office, the mother of the boys and her boyfriend were brought in for questioning but released. Child Protective Services sent us this statement that says, in part, the agency is seeking emergency custody of the 3 boys.
Oh, he wouldn't talk about his parents.
Erica says she didn't want to push the boy too hard with questions, hoping he would open up to her.
Because I did not want him not to come to me for food. If you're that hungry, I want him to keep coming to me. At least I know he was eating.
What? Let me rewind this, man. If I end up in Houston, if I see this lady in Houston, because I will be in Houston very soon, by the way, I'm just going to look at her in utter disgust. Like, what is wrong with you?
Her.
Because I did not want him not to come to me for food. If you're that hungry, I want him to keep coming to me. At least I know he was eating.
I'm sorry, something about that doesn't sound right. You wanted him to keep coming to you, so you wanted him to depend on you. Why did you, ma'am, And I hope y'all don't think that I'm jumping off the deep end here. I'm sorry, but I gotta say this. Ma'am, I think that's really weird, the fact that you want somebody's child to keep coming to you for food and you didn't say anything because you wanted that child to keep coming back to you. How many of y'all caught that? I bet you didn't. Because I'm always thinking about the deeper portion of things when people say stuff. And I'm thinking the psychology of, why would I want somebody else's kid to keep coming over here? Because first and foremost, you have to be careful dealing with other people's kids, right or wrong. Yes? So what would that sound like if DJ Just Jay said, I want y'all to imagine this for a minute. I'm a father, and I want y'all to think about this. Y'all catch me out there. I'm out there on the news. I'm talking to the news station, and I say, yeah, I had this 15-year-old girl coming over to my house, and I knew that she was hungry, but I wanted her to keep coming over here so she could depend on me for food. If a man said that about a 15-year-old girl, what would y'all think? In general. Talk to me, somebody, please. Hello. 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 Say it again. If you heard a man say, I wanted this 15-year-old girl to keep coming by my apartment, knocking on my door at all types of night because I want to make sure that she has food. I want to take care of her. That don't sound suspect to y'all? So you knew something was wrong. You intentionally didn't call the police because you acknowledged that you said he had been coming for 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. That is constituted in your mind. That is solidified in your mind. 6 months. But you wanted him to keep coming back to you. Why, ma'am? I'm very curious to know why you would want a 15-year-old boy to keep coming back to you rather than to his mom, to his dad, to his family. Huh? You knew he was underage. You acknowledged that he was a young kid. If you don't want people to assume stuff like this about you, why don't you just do the right thing from the jump? You feed a kid once, fine. Feed a kid a second time, fine. 6 months? Fuck that. That's weird. Do y'all think I'm wrong for calling the neighbor out? I don't think so. Y'all should be here to hear my opinion, and I hope that people do understand where I'm coming from. I hope the people in Harris County, in Houston, Texas, in the A-Leaf area understand where I'm coming from. I'm a Texas resident. I think we need to call this type of stupid-ass behavior out. You can't have neighbors that dumb.
She says she has a message for that 15-year-old boy.
That I love him and I would take him and his brothers.
Done.
And that he needs to keep his head up.
You love him and his brothers.
And his brothers.
Done. Boy.
That I love him and I would take him and his brothers.
Done.
And that he needs to keep his head up.
What? Do y'all think I'm making too much out of this? I don't think I am. Ma'am, why are you saying you love them? You don't know shit about these kids, clearly. And if you did, then you would know that they was in here sitting in there with their dead ass brother. So you clearly don't know them. So why are you saying that you love a 15-year-old and his brothers and you didn't know that they were in that apartment? Let's hear that again.
I want him not to come to me for food. If you're that hungry, I want him to keep coming to me. At least I know he was eating.
She says she has a message for that 15-year-old boy.
That I love him and I would take him and his brothers.
Done.
And that he needs to keep his head up.
Ma'am, I wouldn't want you around any children. I'm sorry, but it's something wrong with your mentality. I don't know whether it's your cotton candy, stupid ass hair, or did y'all notice? Remember how I talked about face tattoos? Thank you. Somebody caught it. Did y'all notice her face tattoos? I've always told you guys, I've never discriminated between men and women when it comes to face tattoos. I think that people that have face tattoos have hell of a lot of mental issues. I want y'all to notice. She got My Little Pony hair. She actually looks like a little horse, doesn't she? She looked like one of those little My Little Pony girls. Y'all think I'm lying? I'm about to pull, man, I'm about to go there. I'm about to go there. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. She looks just, she looks like all of them. Which one do I show you guys? I don't know. How about I just show you all of them? Y'all gotta see this. I want y'all to tell me that DJ Just J is wrong for saying that she looks like My Little Pony girl. Tell me I didn't get that right. She's shaped like a horse and she looks like a My Little Pony. With the hair and everything. Y'all want me to stop the jokes? Okay, my bad. You said she looked like Polly Pocket. Y'all better stop. I know about Mighty Max and Polly Pocket. Don't play. I'm older than y'all think. But again, I want to remind you guys that the biological mother had 6 children in total. 4 boys, 2 girls. She kicked her daughter out, her oldest daughter, the 17-year-old, because she saw the abuse, she said something, and mom said, you know what, you're the problem, get out of my house, and kicked her out. So therefore, the oldest, who clearly had a little more wherewithal than the other kids, was trying to stop the abuse that was going on. So she cut her off from her siblings. Then mom and boyfriend forced and subjected these children to all kind of abuse and violence. Kept them there, and because she knew that the rent here was going to be so cheap with her Section 8, they turned around and said, you know what, we can have 2 apartments. How about that? They can be stuck over here and we can go over here and go live the good life. Like, if you just listen to that, that sounds like the greatest level of stupid that there is. But stupid is stupid thugs. Hood hoes love hood dick, and stupid is stupid thugs. Mom's boyfriend was a thug, and mom is a damn thug herself. She is a horrible individual. She should never have children. They should lose all of their reproductive rights, and they should lose their reproductive organs. They need both life in prison. They should be treated equally for this. Like y'all know how, let me call something out, because we need to actually call this to be an actual change in our judgment system in the courts. In the courts, whenever there is a robbery, if people who are participating in a robbery, if somebody dies, gets shot and gets murdered, everybody who participated, including the getaway driver, can be charged with what? Everybody can be charged with murder. So I want you to think about this. My analogy is that these mothers continue to take their children to the thug zoo. They stick their children in the thug lion cage, and what does the fake Paul Wall, gold, silver, aluminum teeth in his mouth? What does he do to these kids? The mom's thug lion, her little pet. He mauled and murdered this kid and left the bones. And mom didn't care. She left those kids continuing to live in the thug lion cage. And if you place your children in harm's way, then why should you not be held equally responsible for the death of your children? If you ask me, both of them should get a murder charge for that and a murder charge for that. at the very least. The rest of those charges should also follow as well. But mom should be charged with murder just the same. But that's why I say that law needs to be changed. So if we have a law like that for robbery, why can't we have a law like that for our children? Uh-oh. Come on, Texas, with the super aggravated child abuse laws. We do good with certain things. Can we not step up for that? Can we not step up for that? This next voting season, the thing that we're going to ask for is we're going to ask for more accountability for those who hurt, murder, and abuse children. For those who take advantage of children, kidnap children, do anything detrimental to children, should face maximum consequences at every single turn, because that's the only way that this is going to get fixed. To get rid of people like this. He was never a good person. He's always been a horrible person. He should have never been in this house. He should have never been in our society. Mom and boyfriend gotta go. I'm done with this story. And let me say R.I.P. to that little prince. Let me see if I can get his picture back up here. Because he did. He was a handsome young man. Kendrick Lee, young prince. R.I.P. If we have any more details to report about this story, because the only thing I plan to talk about is probably what their actual sentencing is going to be. But if there's more stuff that comes out, we'll definitely report it on this channel. Thank you to everybody who actually came and sent me an email. I can't talk. That sent me an email. There were dozens and dozens of emails just on this one story, okay? But I did get it, and I thank you all for listening to me with an open mind as well as an open heart. And I hope you understand with discernment the message that I'm trying to get across, okay? Justice for our children. They both should get a murder charge. Change the laws. Update the laws. Let's get it right, all right? Thank y'all for listening to this story. We'll see you on the next story with another update whenever we talk about this again, okay? Thank you.